Oh my God. Really, I always remember on Sundays, I'll remind myself, I'm too blessed to be stressed. I always remind myself.
I'm too blessed to be stressed. I love that. I love that. I'm too blessed to be stressed.
Yeah, Latina, you can take that to the bank. You just can't cash it, though. Deposit only.
You're
Very nice to
Orang,
see you, Jeff.
Orang, you're here because you're not all there.
I just know wherever I go, there I am.
Whatever you are, there you are.
My favorite line is this: after all is said and done, more is said than done. My favorite, Baba says this: I may not be there when you call me, but I'm always, always on time. It took me 5 years to figure it out. Do you know why Baba's always on time? It took me, I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm a slow beginner.
Yeah.
I'm very slow. I'm not advanced. But you know why Baba's on time? I found the answer after 5 years. Because he's created time.
Good.
What?
Hey,
It is, but that was really.
Yeah, Baba.
looking out there, we see Buck and Mara. California, here we come.
Oh, Buck is on.
Hi, everybody. Jay Baba.
Yeah,
Jeff.
Good.
Happy to join you.
yeah, we just kind of hang out. Some stuff comes up. You got any little tales to tell or any little?
Well,
yeah,
like everyone else, we miss you all, and we started watching your effort and grace on the TV.
Yeah.
And then we said we have to drop in. So I think last week, Angela, we came for the first time, and then now we're back, and we want to see more of you all. Right now, we really miss everybody.
yeah. No, we've been kind of hanging out in different ways, and you get to know people that normally you also people from India you might never meet. And there's Sham up in the upper right corner there. I might never meet him. And here we are. Have you got any story to tell? What we do is just kind of potluck. Anything that
It's a potluck party after Artie.
You know what? Here's a quick one. Actually, it happened not long ago. Mara went to her doctor. Her doctor wasn't in, and a woman stood in for her that day. So anyway, so she starts to do her intake interview. So and so, what's your name? And then she finally said, "Are you a follower of Mara Baba's?" And Mara was shocked, of course, and said, "Yes. How did you know?" And she said, "Your name." And she was a Baba lover who just came into town. And she's from, where's she from? South India?
South India.
South India. Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
And Mara, you met Baba as a little girl,
Very little.
but you're in the movie though, right?
Yeah. I'm 3 years old.
Yeah. That last movie taken of Baba, you see this little girl there, and
Yes.
that's Mara,
Nobody talks to her.
and your mom and your brother there.
Hoshang, Havobi, the whole Dadachanji clan.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, no, we're yeah, anything that comes to you, but these are like little. I do have some quotes that I can read, just to fill in some space here. This is this is written by Mani, Baba's sister. I don't know if it was her own writing or whether she was copying something someone else said, but I think it's Mani. She writes, "Why were the saints saints? Because they were cheerful when it was difficult to be cheerful, patient when it was difficult to be patient, And because they pushed
Alan.
when they wanted to, pushed on when they wanted to stand still, and kept silent when they wanted to talk, and were agreeable when they wanted to be disagreeable. That was all. It was quite simple and always will be.
You look so
I like that.
Wow.
That was all. It was quite simple and always will be. Easier said than done, folks.
Jeff, who wrote that? Money?
Money, yeah. Now here's one right here. Spend your time wisely. This is Rumi. Spend your time wisely before you're condemned as a bankrupt. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow has never existed and never will. Right now is all. Dive into the transforming river of dive into the river of transformation and swim to the ocean of Allah. That's
Wow.
here's
Where's that
one.
from, Jeff? Where did that Rumi quote come from?
I don't know. This is Lao Tzu. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. I'll read that one again. That's be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
Good.
Anyway. Yeah. We got Ganesh up there. But Mara, do you know Ganesh from Pune?
I don't believe so. No.
Hey,
Hi,
Ganesh.
Ganesh.
Hi.
Hi. Nice
Hi.
to see you.
Yeah, me too. Nice to be here.
Yeah. Alan, you got anything on your plate?
Anything on my plate? Well, I woke up this morning and I was when I was waking up, I was hearing this kind of voice, and it sounded something like it was like speaking in Farsi, and I don't speak Farsi. It was like as like a certain tone, and I was like, "Hey, that reminds me that I've heard that voice." And then I was like, "Huh?" And then I was like, "Oh, I think that's." And I could see his face, and I saw him smiling, and I was like, "Why can't I remember your name?" And I was like, "Is your name Narshwan?" "No, that's not your name." And then I was like, I typed in on YouTube Meher Baba Prem Ashram because I know that he was part of the Prem Ashram, and then it came up as Fandiyar. And then I was like, oh, okay, I have to make my coffee, and I got to watch this guy. I just feel like I got to do that. I don't know why. And I sat there, and the video I watched was like a really loud. Some of the older videos have that screeching loud sound, the hissing.
Yeah.
Not the greatest audio quality, but I for some reason I was like, I have to listen to this one. And so he's sitting there, and somebody asked him in the audience, like, "Can you sing a song that you sang in the in the ashram?" And he kind of started talking, and it was the same rhythm. Baba said it, and then he kind of did like a little bit of the lyrics that he sang, and then he kind of stopped, and there was this moment where he like stopped talking, and he looked over at what's the gentleman's name? Is it Farshid?
Farshid, yeah.
Farshid. He stopped, and like he just stopped talking, and he like looked over at Farshid, and then Farshid like looked at him, and they like had this moment where they both paused, and then Farshid just like all of a sudden just closes his eyes, like in the middle of him translating, he's like just stops talking and he like closes his eyes and puts his head down. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I just am sitting there with them, and I'm like, I feel like I'm suspended from my seat, and I just start like weeping because Baba was like right there. And then I'm looking at Farshid and he's got like tears rolling down his face. And it was like just the eternal moment. It was just beautiful. And he's just sitting there, you know, like Esfandiar just sitting there staring at Farshid, like smiling, like not moving at all. And I don't know, it was just a very, very beautiful moment. And then and I kind of wiped the tears and I went to go get another cup of coffee, and I looked on the calendar and I was like, hey, oh my goodness, today's the day that he left his body. Esfandiar.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, and then I missed the talk that of Farshid talking, and I was like, oh, I missed everything, but at least I had that. I feel like I had that moment of beautiful connection with them. It was really grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely.
Wow.
No,
That's
it's
great.
Yeah. No, those, I know those. There's a line from somebody that wrote. It's in a book on angels, but someone wrote, "Coincidences are God's way of performing miracles anonymously." Coincidences are God's way of performing
Yeah.
miracles anonymously.
Perfect.
So it's from one angle you could view it as a coincidence, but then knowing Baba, you know that it's a little minor miracle that he has created.
Yeah, it's like another little stepping stone in the fog. You have that stepping stone to step your next foot on.
Little minor incarnation.
Yeah.
Of events.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I love his stories. They're so sweet. He's such a sweet man.
Yeah.
Did you meet him, Jeff?
Oh yeah, many times.
Oh.
Many times.
Did you meet him with Darwin at the same time?
The two of them together, and the two of them together, I describe as a 500-watt light bulb in a closet. You don't need that much room in one. You don't need that much voltage in one wattage in one room. There was. So hey, Buck, and you feel like telling a little bit about how you came to Baba, or do you no pressure at all?
Sure.
Yeah. His brother is Tim Busfield. You see him in the movies. I've got a story about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, he just placed a picture of Baba in one of his TV series this week, and it was behind him on his TV show. So,
yeah, is that the one that's the that's been circulating around? It's on the wall.
Yeah.
Is that Tim? I didn't get the.
This is what happens to us, Jeff.
Oh God, just brainwash the American populace. Yeah.
Well, you knew him when he was 20. He's 60 something now.
Oh,
so yeah, that happens. Yeah.
But there is if you look on there's a excerpt from a movie that's circulating around in the Baba world, and it's his brother, and on the wall he's on the telephone talking, and on the wall there is a photograph, one of the large old pictures of Baba. Which one is it? Don't Worry, Be Happy, or?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So go ahead, Buzz.
So I've watched so many coming to Baba's stories over the years. And now that they're happening on YouTube, you know, and I'm gonna cut to the chase rather than start with the childhood, because you have other people here and all that, because it was nothing eventful, but like so many people, I landed in my teens with a longing, you know, that, you know, in fact, it made no sense to me until I heard Darwin use the word ultimate significance. I had a longing for that experience, and I had some dreams in high school, and all I could do is describe them as ultimate significance, but I didn't know what it was. It seemed otherworldly, but it's a place where all things were. And anyway, so I got to be 20, and I had moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and moved into an apartment. I went down there to compose songs, and that was the bait and switch, because eventually it was to hear about Baba. I'd already seen Baba's photo in college when I was 18 and had a very negative reaction to it. I remember seeing it was on the cover of Rolling Stone, and I remember looking at Baba's photo and and say, I don't want to know anything about this man. I don't want to know anything about him. I could feel some impending loss if I pursued that. So I didn't read that article. And then 6 months to a year later, I got another notice from Rolling Stone magazine saying, oh, would you like to renew? And there was a photo of that issue. And again, I just said, there's that guy that I don't want to know anything about. It was very visceral. It was completely fear. And so I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. First day I'm there, in the apartment building I move into, I run into Steve Edelman, who's a Baba lover, who passed a few years ago. And I met him. We almost bumped into each other, and I had a terrific sense of recognition with him. That I knew him, and I couldn't tell from where. It was really gnawing at me. Next day I saw him again and again. He told me to meet him on the street, and there was going to be some busking, some music playing. So I said, I'll join you. I saw him there, and he had a Baba locket. And I said, who's that? And I said, who's that? And he said, it's Meher Baba. And I again said, oh, right. Yeah, I don't need to know any more than that. I was terrified. Anyway, we ended up moving in together, and we would argue, really fun arguments. Smart, lovely guy, and really totally devoted to Baba. And we'd argue about the existence of God, and the regular questions would come up about suffering and creation, and how does that square with a loving God? Anyway, I annoyed him, and I was so persistent. He got really irritated, and he said, if you care so much about humanity, you can, once you read this book, and it was called Listen Humanity, and he just kind of stormed out. I said, and my competitive nature said, all right, I'll show you. I'll read your book. I'll read Listen Humanity to show you I care about humanity, and I'll probably be able to improve upon it. Well, the short of it is I started reading it, and I don't remember how deep it is into the book, but Baba tells Francis Brabazon and maybe Bill LePage to take his name, breathing his name, for half an hour, I think, or for a while in the Samadhi. This was 3 incredible weeks they were there. And I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to breathe Meher Baba's name, not because I believe in God or who he is, but because allegedly it would help with my thoughts, and I wasn't happy with the quality of my thoughts. So I started doing that. And day 1, I'd walk to work. Day 2, at every opportunity, I would repeat Meher Baba's name with my breath. And then the third day, all I can say is that, you know, he showed me, he gave me a glimpse of his beauty and his love, and it was transformative, instantaneous. It wasn't a long, drawn out romance. It was instantaneous. I was feeling love. It was coming from him, and it pervaded all. There were 3 or 4 really important thoughts or experiences that came in that moment. Of course, his love, of course, his beauty, but the other ones were that he was in everything and everyone, and that everything I had ever experienced in my life, this lifetime, everything, good, bad, the things I had terrible regrets over, everything was to bring me to this moment of when he came to me. And then that was it. It was an instant transformation. My whole identity shifted to being a Baba lover. I was a professional Baba lover. Every dollar was saved, was spent. You remember, you'd drive 4 hours to hear someone talk for half an hour who met Baba, and I got to meet all those folks, and it was just Baba all the time, and it was just my until career and family took over. It was just a full-time job for a good decade. And then finally, I just want to say this because I've been thinking about it, because I've been listening to Effort and Grace, is that although I was a total Baba lover and he was all there was to me, I had what I call a darshan experience by a dream about 8 or 9 years later. And I had gone through a rough time, and it wasn't rough by real rough standards, but it was rough for me. I had health issues. I'd been victimized by crime a couple times in a short period. Anyway, and I just want to share this with you because it reminds me of what Darwin describes. But so I was sitting on the front steps of a white kind of a palace, and Baba was sitting there in a circle with the Mandali, men Mandali, and Baidu was there, and Padri and Pendu and Erich, and Baba was picking up sand and throwing it in their faces, and he just like that, and hard, and they took it, you know, they kind of blinked and winced, and then he went around and he came to Erich, who was to my right, and he threw this sand, this dirt in his face so hard, it was shocking. And then he turned to me and gave me a little puff of dust and flicked it at me. And that was obviously about the difficulties I've been going through. But then what happened after that? So he looked at me, and I remember Darwin and Leatrice would often talk about how Baba could look and just part everything, just move everything aside. And he did that, and he just kept moving identity, persona, personality, a confidence. And what he saw inside there was these two things. It was, he found it, he loved it, he found it so beautiful, but it was this, what I wanted to say about how Darwin was describing this, it was so personal. It was so deeply appreciative of himself and me. And so I feel like I came to Baba twice, although I never felt like I left him. I fell in love with him, and then I had this darshan experience. And since then, my wife and I talk about this a lot. I have such profound certainty that because of that, that he loves me no matter what. And no matter, I mean, the sum total of all I've ever done or ever will do is just nothing when he decides to see who you really are. So sorry that took a while, but
No, beautiful.
yeah. So, and I still think about this dream. It was, you know, I don't know if you remember Anita Putalik. Baba cabled her once. She had a dream about Baba, and she said, "Baba, you appeared to me and said, stop having meetings on Monday night, move them to Tuesday." And so he cabled her back and said, "Pay no attention to any dream that I'm in unless it helps you to love me more."
Yeah.
So that dream was more of a darshan experience for me. So that's how I came to Baba, you know.
Yeah, beautiful.
Short.
No.
I get it under 10 minutes. I hope so.
Oh, look at that. We this is totally open-ended, believe me. You know,
thank
it
you.
reminds me two things. One is Anita Putalik. She met Baba. Did you know her story a little bit? Tell a little bit of her story, but there's a quote that I got out of her in the refectory when we were but you know a little bit about her. I'll tell it, and you, if I'm off, let me know.
That's good.
There's a woman named Anita Putalik. She lived in New York, and she was going to this was back in the 50s, and she would go to the Monday night group, but she was devoted to Jesus, but somehow she would go to these meetings. And then she went out to Michigan, right? Was it Michigan? And she got married, and the Monday night group, when Baba was going to be coming to New York in 1956, so they contacted her and said, well, if you want to meet Baba, you can, you know, come here to New York and meet him. And so she got permission, I guess, from her husband. And she was actually pregnant at the time, and she was actually worried that she was going to have some problem with this baby and everything. But so anyway, she flies from Michigan over to New York City, and they're gathered there to see Baba for their interviews. And Adi sends Baba makes a gesture like this. He goes like this. I don't know if you can see that, but Adi this is the first interview of Baba's visit. So he goes in there and he looks for someone who's fat, you know, and he looks around. There's nobody that seems to answer that description. So he goes back in, and Baba makes a gesture again, and he gets the idea it's someone who's pregnant, a woman who's pregnant. So he goes out there and asks, is there a woman who's pregnant? And so she gets up, and she's the first one to have the interview of Baba's visit. So she goes in, and Baba assures her right away that you're going to have no problems with the birth of your child. And Baba, I guess, said it with such conviction that she was relieved of that, because she was very worried about that. Then she said to Baba, you know, about her devotion to Jesus, and you know that she was kind of upfront with Baba that she was devoted to Jesus. And Baba, this is what Baba said to her. I remember it word for word. If I got to remember that. You have made one big mistake in your spiritual life. Now she's meeting Baba for the first time. You have made one big mistake in your spiritual life. You have put God in heaven, and until you find him in everyone you meet, your religion will always be lopsided. So you've made one big mistake in your spiritual life. You have put God in heaven, and until you find him in everyone you meet, your religion will always be lopsided. And that became the theme of her life. If you met, I don't know if you had that experience, but when you were with Anita, it was just you and her and the universe. She was so one-pointed. You really felt seen by her. That became her. Baba gave her the theme of her whole life, I would say, in that little exchange. But Buck, is that how you remember it, or Buck?
Looks like his video went out.
Uh-oh, what?
He's muted.
Oh, just a second. Oh, Buck is muted?
Yeah, Buck is.
But Buck, is that how you remember?
Yes, his network has a problem, Jeff.
Oh, they're frozen.
They frozen, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be, I mean, if they were in Michigan, they could get away with it, but California, Sacramento is not right.
I guess he's muted.
They disappear. They left.
They're gone, huh?
I think they'll reappear. They left to rejoin, I guess.
Hey, we got Dinku. We haven't seen Dinku in a while. I hope she wasn't.
I know Dinku. Now Dinku is my friend on Facebook. She requests to be my friend on Facebook. She's sending me all these beautiful things about India and stuff. It's great. Her sharings, her posts.
Hi, everyone.
She's fun.
Hey, Dinku. Nice to see you.
Hi. Yeah, nice to be here.
Yay, y'all come back.
Yeah, I was away for a week. I'd gone to off to my friend's farm, and I couldn't connect on Zoom from there. So, yeah, but it was a nice break to get away from the city.
Yeah. Oh, good. Welcome back.
Thank you. I know I've missed you all. And Lanita, I love your pictures on Facebook too.
I'm glad you like it. You see the pictures on the sunset? Myrtle Beach sunset.
I know, it's what I said.
That's
I wish
my
I could be on the
specialty.
beach.
So Dinku, what did you get for all of us?
I go every afternoon to take.
Get meaning?
What?
What did you get for us? We went.
From where?
We went on a holiday, and then you didn't get anything.
I just got myself back. It was so hot. It was unbelievable for November.
I guess those, I guess they slipped off, but this is kind of, you might find an interesting story. His brother is Buck Busfield. And he and I were, he came down here to Myrtle Beach from Michigan. He was like 20 years old, and we were roommates. And he was planning to stay here and move in and be a part of this community. And one day he goes into to Kitty's office, and Kitty says, "Oh, yeah, you're the one that's destined to become an actor. Now you need to go quickly and get your training, and then you go out to Hollywood, or something like that." And he was like, "What?" So he comes home and he says, tells me, "Jeff, I gotta leave. Kitty says I'm destined to be an actor." Oh, hey, there they are. They're back. Have you heard this story? A little bit.
Connection.
Yeah, there you go.
You were muted.
Sorry, forgive me. We were completely lost our connection. So is this a story about Tim with Kitty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of know it, but we were roommates at the time. Right. So anyway, he comes home and he says, Kitty says, I gotta go get my training and everything. And so he did a little acting. We would do skits on the Santur, and he was very good mimic and all that, but I don't know if he was really thinking of being a full-fledged actor. But anyway, so he takes off, he goes to Nashville, he gets a couple of years of acting training, right? And just barely, slimly gets the position, but that's another whole story. But then he goes out to Hollywood and they grab him right up, you know. So that red-headed guy you see in the movies, that's very often Tim Busfield.
That's right.
You know, Revenge of the Nerds and Field of Dreams and Trapper John MD. A lot of these, he did a lot of different things. The West Wing. But anyway, this is the story I wanted to tell you.
He's the only red hair.
What's that?
He's the only red hair in Hollywood.
He
He's
stands
the only red hair in
The only
Hollywood.
one.
Yeah, there's only one person in Hollywood at that time
You
that had
say
red-
you say if you see a head red hair,
Look, Lenita, you're
a
breaking
red
up.
hair, that's him. He's not the only one.
We can't quite hear you. So, but this is the
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. Okay. Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing is so he would come into, you know, about once a year he would come into Myrtle Beach and stay on the center and get together with Kitty. So on one of his trips to he's talking with Kitty in her office, and he says that he's going to be part of a movie that's being shot in Israel. And Kitty says, oh yes, well you must see Carrie Ben-Shimai, you know, and that's the one Baba person who met Baba from Israel. And she came here and met Baba, and she even stayed overnight in the lagoon cabin. But she was the daughter of a famous rabbi. I mean, really kind of almost like a pope of a certain, maybe the Orthodox. And then she gets into Baba, of all things. And not only that, but she's quite outspoken. So she is not real popular in Israel. But so here's the interesting thing. You know, the Mandali, like Kitty, they're kind of tuning into the universal. They're tuning into Baba, and a lot of amazing things happen to them. So this is an example of that. So she convinces him, now you go to Israel, and you know, and when you're there, make sure you contact Carrie Ben-Shimai. So he goes, and he's there with the movie set and everything. And the first day he calls a number, and they say they basically say, you don't want to know anything about this lady, and they hang up. You know, and I mean, he has no idea that this is what's going on here. The next day the day after, he calls up, and the person's very reluctant to tell him anything about her and where they live, but he somehow got it out of her where she lived. So he got a taxi, and the taxi driver did not want to go over to that part of the city. Very reluctant. But somehow Tim convinced him to go, and he drives all the way over to this place, and it's kind of like a little bit of a dark part of the city. Not a great place to be. And he tells the cab driver, now you wait here, and I'm going to just go in and contact this lady. The cab driver says, no, I'm not staying here. He gets his money and takes off. So Tim comes to this place, and it's like a rooming house. You know, it's like and he asks if he can, meet with Carrie Ben-Shimai, and the owner, whoever, the person at the desk says, tries to discourage him from going to see her, but he kind of persists. And finally, they give him a key. Now, she lives down the hall there, and so he walks down this hall, and it's kind of a little scary. And Tim is pretty fearless, and he's a good athlete and everything, but it's a little bit scary. And he goes in, and he knocks on the door, no answer and everything. So he goes with the key. I mean, this is as I remember it. He opens it up, and there's this like single room, and this woman is standing in front of a window with her back to the door. And he kind of clears his throat, and she turns around and gives him a scowl. And he says, I'm just from Kitty. Kitty sent me and wanted me to say hello to you. She instantly falls at his feet. And she says, I felt Baba had left me, and I just asked him for a sign. And then Tim walks in at that very moment. So, you know, even Kitty from whatever, 5,000 miles away, you know, totally oblivious, but this is, you know, the synchronization was so perfect. So anyway, that was your brother. I don't know if he's told you that story. Yeah. Okay. Anybody got?
What's the name of the movie that he's in where he's got the Baba picture on?
It's a TV series called For Life. For Life. It's a TV series, American TV series.
Oh, okay. Is it on
For
Netflix?
Life. It's network TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Thank you.
ABC, CBS.
Oh, one of those. Okay. What's the name again?
For Life.
For Life.
FOR. Life. Yeah.
It's about someone who's sentenced to prison for life. Yeah.
Oh, sounds interesting.
It's a drama. Yeah. There you go. Alan put it up there.
And is he the one that's in there for life?
And no, he's an attorney. And you ask, and now I'm wondering if that was him in the photo before Baba's picture, or if it's somebody else. I thought it was. It looked like him, but I need to look more carefully. See if I can recognize my brother.
Yeah. I didn't recognize him, but I didn't know I was looking for Tim. I thought I was looking for Baba.
I think it was.
So Ganesh, have you got anything?
I actually got and haven't got. That's what the state I am in. Like, I've been going through this phase of, like, it's been kind of a bit challenging. Like Friday, I had to host this program on Circle of Friends, and we were all set. I did call up Pratap uncle and all that, and then just 5 minutes before that, I get a call from my office that we had to urgently get into a meeting, and I had to get into that meeting. And it just happens that the moment these days, when I'm just finishing off everything, there's something that just comes up and pulls me back, and like not having that enough Baba time that I wish to have. So I'm just contemplating why that's happening to me. So something comes up, pulls me back. It's like that's so often happening.
Yeah.
So I just don't know why that's happening. So, but it's happening. And then everything just pulls me, and then it takes a whole lot of my time, concentration, and energy, and then so that's what's happening.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're trying to sneak Baba in any way that you can into your thoughts and everything.
Yes.
But yeah, you want the remembrance to be not so thin, but a little richer and more substantial.
Yes. Yeah.
Ganesh, have you ever read that book by Kitty? Oh, my brain's not working.
Which one? Love Alone Prevails?
Yeah, Love Alone Prevails.
Yes. Yes, I read it.
You read it from like front to back?
I read, to be frank, I've read in bits and pieces. It's like a real fat book. So I almost covered the book, but it's like read it in pieces.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of that book?
The favorite part of that book is like the middle section where she talks a lot about her travels and then coming to US and all that.
Oh, like in the 50s? Or...
Yes, 50s. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I
Some
haven't
of her
gotten that far.
correspondence is really nice. That a lot of her correspondence in that book.
Yeah, like the letters that she gives everybody
Yes.
to read and everything.
Yeah, it's very intimate, and there's a lot of lot of content in it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Even our book One Fine Thread is very nice. I like that book, One Fine Thread.
One fine thread. I don't think I have that one.
Yeah, if you not like it's about a collection of her talks and very profound thoughts she has put in like in her talks.
And that's all Kitty's stuff.
All kitty stuff.
Wow.
Like all the talks that she gave, it's a compilation of that, and there's a lot of essence. I can say a lot of rich essence in those talks.
She talked. I was very surprised at the time. This is back in the 70s. Kitty would do these talks, write them out about consciousness, and somehow I was thinking, what is she? You know, she's really kind of obsessed with consciousness. But now at my age, so am I. But at the time, I thought,
Jeff, what she said about consciousness, Jeff, do you remember what she said about consciousness, or kind of the lecture she gave?
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, I think she was trying to explain who she was and who Baba is. You know, Baba being this infinite consciousness, and then who is she? You know, this. I mean, she basically, you know, became a vehicle rather than, you know, than an independent person that's, you know, a little base of operations. She was a vehicle. But there's a line from Saint Catherine of Siena, one of Baba's favorite Christian saints, and Jesus appeared to her, and she said to Jesus, "Who are you and who am I?" And Jesus said, "I am he who is, and you are she who is not." There's a deep truth in that. That's the kind of stuff that Kitty was toying around with.
Well, you
she
know,
explains. She also explains that how consciousness is different from awareness and all that. And what I get from that is that later on she realized that Baba always did those things, like he wanted always them to focus on him. So he was moving away the consciousness away from their limited self, and he wanted them to focus on him. So the consciousness stayed around Baba, and that was what Baba was doing over the years. So that is what she shares in that write-up.
Yeah, she was really someone, I mean, the same way with the mandala, she was able to look away from herself. She wasn't, didn't have the self-reference. If she was talking to you, she was talking not through her own self. She was over talking to you without kind of bringing herself into the picture. The duality of her and you, it was just you. It's a kind of a magical thing.
Yeah, I think that there's I mean, just going back to what Ganesh was talking about, that this is a peculiar thing of when you are, let's say, at a sahavas, you know, and everybody's talking about Baba, or you're in these meetings and we're connecting and everybody's feeling, you know, that maybe that fragrance of Baba, and then suddenly you kind of like you get this like thrashing that happens when you're working in the world and you're interacting with people who are really not necessarily their importance on God is just that, like, that doesn't exist in that for them, and you're kind of thrashed around in that, and then just when you want to have like a breath of air, sometimes there's another wave of that, like, but then yeah, I'm curious, Ganesh, when you are because I've been practicing it, so I'm just interested to hear from you, like when you kind of, you said you get pulled back in,
Mm.
Is there a does that mean that your experience of being with Baba, not emotionally or feeling wise, but your awareness or background sense of Baba is no longer there, and it's just like work 100, like work, 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 work?
No, it is there, but like I just want to space out, have the more Baba time, but just when I think of like, okay, right now I'm done with my work and here is my Baba time. And during that time, like on a Friday, I didn't have any other calls or anything except my routine work whole day. And then suddenly in the evening, when I'm just entering this call into our gathering, I'm just getting in and I just get this call and get pulled back. So it's like that thing's so often happening.
Yeah, Buck and Mara, these two guys have very high intensity jobs, and they're trying to remember Baba in the midst of such intensity, and then they get spat out at the end of the day, and you know that's their chance to have Baba, but it's very hard to keep Baba in the middle of such intensity. I mean, such a demanding worldly intensity. And Jasima probably has the same thing a little bit.
I guess not much as Ganesh or Alan.
Yeah. It's hard to create space. Darwin used to talk about creating inner space, so that you could do work and still have that inner space. You could have both Baba's presence and the work under the same roof, and that is hard to do. I mean, he kind of taught us how to do that, because previously, when I had a job like yours, which was so demanding, if I want to remember Baba, I'd have to go to the bathroom and lock the door and just sit there. Oh, my God, and then go back on the floor again and just get swallowed up by the sheer volume of work. And
so more than the volume of work right now, the challenge is like when I'm having a Baba time, like if it's like if it's on a July 10th, right, just before I enter my silence time, there's something that comes up, or I'm in a Baba program or something that just comes up during that time. It's like somebody watching me and pulling me back. So that kind of experience is what I'm going through. More than right now the volume, it's like just that moment when I just want to be with Baba is like something that really comes up.
Like bad timing, huh?
Yes.
The universe is after you.
Yeah, that what you were saying, by the way, just to shift gears a little bit, Buck, when you were talking about that dream and your experience of Baba having darshan with Baba's darshan, that was very, I could very much relate to that, as that was a turning point in my life as well, to have Baba's darshan. It was almost like I don't know if it was like for you, but it was like I was more awake in that moment with him looking at me than I am right now, or than I was in throughout the entire dream leading up to that moment. And that really, I never heard it that way though. That spacing of that opening up, opening up, and I really was just being seen, and more to the point of there was no more of like a reference point of, you know what I mean, somebody's looking at me. It was just isness, it was it. And that's kind of the longing that I think, just the general sadness I think that I have in my life. Oh, there you went. But there's just the general sadness that I think I've always had, but it's like a longing to be back home, I would say. and then to have to touch into that place of that ultimate home, that one home, I think I can see now, because you shared that part, it's like it really did in fact change the entire course of my life. I was always wondering why was that moment why would it shift me? And it's because, well, everything, you start to realize and feel that things that you held on to that really felt like they were really important and that they really were giving you something, or actually were like these little circus acts that you were trying to do to like make yourself feel like you were, you know, getting closer to somewhere or something, you know. And for me, in that part of the dream, I had been walking through a desert and I really felt like I was going somewhere. That's a very important fact, that I was like, really felt important walking through an empty desert with just scorpions towards the sun. And I was just like, man, this is great. I'm just going somewhere. You know, it's like actually then the turning away from, yeah, it's just like that turning away from what we find to be so important and real, including now, especially with COVID and all the other things happening. It's really bringing me closer to that sense of like the visceral, you know, just even your the closest ones, your wife, your mother, your own breath, your own body, your own, all these things that I have fought so hard to keep, and yet I can't. And he's the only thing that's real. That's just, it's such a dissolving process, but it's like his grace, as Mani said, is like his hand being inside of that, you know, like when somebody's a pottery, yeah, like holding that, he's the sustaining force, and then just beating the outside and cutting the outside, and you're just like, oh my God, please don't take that. Oh no. But then you're just like still being sustained by the fact that he is there in all of it. And then, yeah, that's it's quite peculiar and incredible. So I appreciate you sharing that something about what you sharing that moment of the space being open. It's very helpful for me. So
actually, that inner space helped me a lot. It really helped me. What Jeff shared, like it's like over the years, and so I somehow like a bit of it is what I could get in, and it really helped the inner space thing.
Ganesh, have you been to the Samadhi now that it's open?
No, I haven't been. I was actually a few weeks back. I went when it was all closed. I just was there for 10 minutes and then I left and came back. I wish to go now when the Samadhi is open and spend a little time.
You know, I've probably mentioned this to you before. You know, Prophet Muhammad said, between you and me, there are 49 veils. Between me and you, there are no veils. And, but Darwin used to talk about sometimes you would be looking at Baba and he would start to remove some of those veils. And Baba would become, you know, more brilliant, or he'd become like exquisitely beautiful. But one time when he was with Baba in 1954 in the museum, what's now the museum room where he was meeting with men, and they were sitting around talking, and then at one point Baba said, let's not discourse anymore. Let's take 5 minutes and you can look at me. And so Darwin is looking at Baba, and as he's looking at him, he sees these veils are being removed more and more. And eventually he's just looking at this ocean of divine love and light, you know, and he said, wow, you can really see, I mean, he would say, you can really see divine love. It's possible to see it. And then gradually Baba kind of came back into form again. And there he is. But, and it was interesting because Amrit was telling the story yesterday. It kind of made an impression on me. When she went in to meet Baba for the first time, she went from the main room into that side door in to see Baba for the first time. She's 18. And she goes through the door and she sees Baba. He's on the bed with his back you know, train to the outside, and she just sees this old man, old, kind of pathetic man, and she comes around the front and stands in front of him, and she still thinks, okay, she thought, I'm going to go in and meet God. And she goes in, and like I say, she can just see, he looks so feeble and everything, and so she stands in front of him, and she's just sees this old, kind of pathetic man, old man, and everything. And Baba then suddenly he kind of opens his arms out to her, and she goes into his arms. I can't remember the sequence, but she just sees this, you know, the Baba's glory. She sees God. You know, Baba just basically, for her sake, he removed the veil so that she could see a little bit of who he was. But she said, but what Baba said is, you people make me have to prove myself. Something like that. You people make me have to prove myself. I had to open up and, you know, so you could see into me, you know. But I mean, just to love him as he is in human form is that's that's what the Mandali were able to do, you know, and look after that aging form of Baba's without seeing any fireworks, or, you know, without seeing the glory, you know. But it kind of impressed me. But you people make me have to prove myself. And of course he did, and she had no doubt that he was God after he you know, removed the veils and she could see. Anyway, that kind of made an impression on me, that not to kind of force him to do too much, to have to prove himself in our lives. Yeah.
You said that was Amrit?
Amrit, yeah. Amrit is married to Dara. Adi Jr., I mean, Baba was his nephew. Adi Jr. was his father.
But hi, Jeff.
Yes, Namita.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Baba, when Baba removed the veil and gave her this darshan of his form, it is very likely that she must have been actually prepared to have, you know, to have had that vision or that visual of Baba.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, right? Because if you're not prepared internally, I think you prepare the ground inside. Only then can he actually manifest in that form. I mean, he can show himself to be that that illuminator, that creator, or whatever in that form. I mean, like for example, Arjun and Krishna's dialogue, which was the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
You know, in the 11th adhyay or chapter, you know, when he reveals that form to him, it was like, because it was Arjun had been prepared. If he had just, you know, given him that, and even then, I think after his, after having shown him that form of destruction that Lord Krishna did, it was not, I think, Arjun actually pleaded with him and said, you know, come back to your normal form. I can't accept this. Something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think wherever we are in stages, I think he prepares us to receive, you know, things.
Yeah, I
that he wants us
agree
to.
with you there. And I mean, she was just 18 too. So, but she must have had that development where she could see Baba in that way.
Yeah.
But Darwin said that when he would be pushing Baba around in a wheelchair in New York after the 52 accident, you know, he was
Mm.
amazed that, you know, people wouldn't necessarily recognize Baba or stand out. I mean, there were certain people would glance at him, but for the most part, he was just in his incognito, you might say. Just, and you can kind of put all the veils down and just walk around, and people might not recognize him at all.
I'm reminded of, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but Mani said that there was somebody that she wanted to meet Baba, and she wanted them to be impressed by Baba. And the person came and met Baba, nothing happened, and they walked away. And Mani kind of challenged Baba and said, Baba, would it be so hard for you to reveal some of your divinity? And he said, no, it would be very easy for me to reveal my divinity. The hard work for me is to hide it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, you're right. I remember hearing that.
So he's not, although he's infinite flowing God beyond in that human form, when it comes to his work on us,
yeah,
there's a push-pull. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think I've mentioned this before. I said to, you know, I said to Erich, you know, people would come and see Baba and they would just be overwhelmed by his love, sometimes fainting. They'd have to cart him off. What was it like for you to be standing next to Baba? What did you feel? And he says, you mean, did I feel the vibes? And I said, yeah. You said, I didn't feel anything. I mean, he was just like an ordinary human being? Yeah.
The human side of God.
They were, you know, but I found out later that he said if he had started experiencing a little bit of that love for Baba, it would have gone and gotten larger and larger, and he would have been like a must. And he would, you know, he would have been overwhelmed by the love, and he wouldn't have been of any use in serving Baba. So he had to, Erich had to put the brakes on his feelings so that he could just go ahead and serve Baba and do all that he did. But he said he would be, Dan Ladinsky once said to Erich, you know, you make incredible efforts just to kind of be with us here and be casual and talking with us. And Erich said, Danny, if I didn't make these efforts, I would be on the ground in the dust, rolling in ecstasy.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, so they're what we're longing for. That he's trying to push away.
That's kind of
There's something beautiful about the fact that people, you know, the Mandali, I mean, I don't know about all of them, but somebody like Erich, you know, for example, wasn't necessarily interested or enthralled with like the planes or with like, I didn't hear him in all the things I've listened to. He's just not talking about it. I don't sense a interest in like him. He just is like, you know, everything's for him. Everything, it's because of him. You know, it's like he didn't have a sense, like I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like most people are like, whoa, like spirituality, you know, in the general population. But then with him, he just like was very, very human. But he, you know, I'm sure is probably in a very different place now.
Yeah, Baba said that he would miss Erich's companionship.
Oh,
he comes again.
Wow.
Can you come again with that quote? What did Baba say about Erich?
Baba would miss his companionship.
Would miss his companionship.
Yeah.
Specifically, miss Erich's companionship, type of companionship.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
And when did Baba say that? When did Baba say that?
You know, I don't know. It's in there. I don't know if you could find it in Lord Mahair. I mean, sometimes I type these things in, especially if I can remember the wording. Say, right, I will miss his companionship. Try that on your Lord Mahair.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel even Mandali has not seen the real side of the Baba's physical Baba. They have seen only physical appearance of Baba and not beyond the physical appearance. Because the instance on the 31st January when Goer came along with the injection, Baba said, I'm not this body. I'm a God in human form. That indicates that Baba is what we see in physical form is only Baba's physical appearance, but we are unable to see Baba's in real form with a real darshan.
Yeah. Yeah, although, you know, when Erich was sitting with Dr. Donkin after Baba dropped his body, they were sitting out on the veranda, and Dr. Donkin said, do you know why I've stayed with Baba all these years? And Erich says, no, what? He said, when I went to meet him for the first time, this was in England, probably in 1931, somewhere, I don't know if it was the very first trip. I went in to meet Baba, and all I saw was light. I went in and out, and I never really saw Baba's form at all. So, yeah. So some of them had that experience, you know, even though it then eventually comes down to being with Baba. Yeah. Wow, we got some beloved.
But I think, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hi. Can you hear?
Yeah, I hear you. Good. Yeah, Namita, we hear you. But now we don't.
We can't hear you, Namita.
We gotta get a VJ going there, you know.
And he would like in his meditations literally cry out and want God to appear before him and things like that. But I mean, I'm not going to be able to paraphrase it exactly the way it was in the book, but I can tell you that, you know, once there was a voice that once during his meditations, there was a voice that actually, he writes it in his book, that spoke to him and said that if you actually see me the way I am, your body is not going to be able to, you know, handle it, because I'm like this 1,000-watt, bulb. I mean, like the power of 1,000-watt bulb that will, you won't be able to sustain, your body will not sustain it. So maybe that is, I'm not sure, but I think that could be also reason why everybody doesn't. It's like how I'd spoken to you many a times about like people getting these dreams of Baba appearing to them, or they actually seeing, you know, Baba appear and, you know, in different ways, you know, all those paranormal experiences. And some of us, we don't have it at all. Like, I mean, I'm one of them. But so, you know, I'm just wondering if all the Mandali should actually have seen Baba like that. Is that how it is, or there is a different reason why everybody's experience is very different?
Yeah, and a lot of people have their Baba experiences in the beginning, and then after a while, it's just kind of rice and dal and oatmeal and stuff. You know.
Yeah, true that.
And you know, I mean, he did that for us, and all that.
Yeah.
But then I haven't had a dream of Baba since the 70s. Now you'd think I'd at least had some dream, you know.
But what started you off with Baba was a tremendous push that I think anybody of us would have given anything to experience, Jeff. So that says it all actually for me.
Yeah. Well, eventually, I mean, after my initial experience, then I had to deal with my selfishness, converting the selfishness over to love, and that there was nothing exalted about that. That was heavy duty. So what, you know,
No, that-
Erich always used to say, we're all in the same boat. Getting ground to dust.
It's a
No?
good reminder to read that chapter again in Discourses. Selfishness.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, no, it's we are as Darwin used to say, we're all each one of us his projects. Hey, Mara Prasad, what you got going over there?
Nothing really. I'm just listening and enjoying.
And Jan Doan is there. At least her nameplate is there.
I'm actually in my jammies on the couch. So I'm totally enjoying just listening.
Hey,
I'm
man, it's only 8 o'clock there, right?
I know. I actually get up pretty. I'm one of these. You know, you're talking about these two. It's Ganesh and Alan both have. I have I work full time too, and so I can get pretty lost during the work week, and I do get caught up in the drama, and I do miss thinking about Baba, and then it's amazing how it every week I feel like I have to just pull my mind back out of that, and then I have a few days with Baba, and then tomorrow morning early I'll be back in it all again, back in the.
Yeah. Are you dealing with COVID patients?
I don't do any more direct care. I just review charts.
Yeah.
And kind of go over their medical care and the medical necessity of the time spent in the hospital. But we're definitely seeing a lot more COVID patients. So yes.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, Erich used to say, I mean, I don't know if I used to hear him say it in when I was around. He would say, Baba just wears you out. So you, and it wears you out so that you just can't make any more self-assertions, you know? Like when, you know, if you're so worn out and someone says, hey, you want to get a new car, Ganesh? You say, no, I'm just too tired. I just gotta stand it. You get so worn out, you don't even want, you can't even muster up the desire for anything.
Today we actually had a couple of sunny days here, and today I was a little reclusive, and then I was saying you should just go for a bike ride before it starts to rain again, and I was like, just like you said, no, I'm just too tired. I just can't even muster up the energy to go for a bike ride.
Yeah, no, it wears you out in a way.
Some ways he does, and in other ways he just.
Except VJ. VJ is, you know, the picture of health, and he's ready to go jogging in 15 minutes. And
Hi, Jeff. Yeah, I was listening to you, and in 1955, my father he used to go into ecstasy in the presence of Baba. So at Mehrabad, and even Baba used to feed him like he was not aware of his food and eating. So Baba used to say him, try to retain your consciousness. Don't make it a show. Don't let people know that. So this tamasha, and look after your family, be in the world. So that's important. So that love should not go out of you and make a show to the people. You should silently love Baba within yourself. So that's what I wanted to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And wait, now, and your father, what was his name again?
Sulu Meshram.
Sulu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meshram.
Yeah, and he came to Baba in 1938 as a young boy, 14 years old boy, and Baba called him fit for the path. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, are we getting kind of any more, or shall we just take it easy?
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you know, I haven't dreamt of Baba, but there are little ways in which I feel Baba is around. The latest being, you know, when I was going on this trip and I thought I'll take a Baba book with me, and I just wanted something light and easy reading. So I kept being drawn to Inviting His Grace. I picked that one up, and I picked up Showers of Grace by Balnatu. But I was looking through other books, and you know, I just keep coming back to Inviting His Grace. And then I realized that during that week, most of the talk, you know, with the circle and other stuff, was all, you know, all around His grace. And something, I wasn't even aware of it, but I just kept being drawn to this book, and that's the one I picked up.
Okay. Inviting His
So
Grace?
it's, yeah.
And
I just wanted a small light book, and you know, I just picked this up.
And you know who put that book together?
No.
He's right above you in the path above you, Ganesh.
Really? Oh wow.
Yes.
he
So this was the last year's Savas theme. That's when we compiled this book. So it's just a
Okay.
gift from Baba. He just flew to us.
Yeah, it's a lovely book.
And he researched all the quotes on grace.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there've been many instances where I just, you know, I've been pushed or drawn to do a certain thing which I normally wouldn't, and it's worked out for the best. And I feel that it's Baba guiding me in whatever way, in a silent way.
Beautiful.
Happy to know that. So
yeah.
Dinku,
Yes,
Dinku,
Lanita.
have you been to the Samadhi? Have
Sorry,
you been
you're
to the Samadhi now that
you're breaking up.
No?
I can't hear you.
have you been to the Samadhi since its opening?
No. Oh no.
No.
It's
Okay.
pretty far from Bombay anyway, just to go there, you know, for a 10-minute darshan
Yeah.
and come back. So I'm
Are you
waiting
in
for
Bombay? I
when.
thought you were in-
No, I'm in Bombay, and maybe once the MPR opens up, then I can go and spend a couple of days there.
Yeah. Well, it's too much closer than us.
Yes, but still pretty far from here. You know, once showed a picture of the house, well, on my camera, on my phone camera, of the flat. I said that was Baba's room.
Wow.
Yes, that's right. You know, now that flat is gone now. It's gone
Yeah,
back to.
it's gone back to the landlord. Meruk told me.
Yeah.
But it's still empty, and they keep a light on at night.
Oh.
In the room where Freni Auntie used to stay.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, and in fact, I've always been thinking it would be so great if that flat could be taken over by, you know, a Meher Baba Trust or something, like a halfway house for pilgrims who come from abroad and go.
It used to be that, Jeff.
know.
That is the home that was Nargish's home.
Oh, I've stayed there.
Yeah.
It's in Dadar area, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Dadar Parsi colony. Yeah. By the way, so my cousin who knows Dinku, this is a Baba story. Is it too late? Is it time to go?
No, we're.
So she is my cousin on my mom's side, and no one on my mom's side was a Baba lover. My mother came to Baba very late in her marriage, but she was the only one. And I've been very close with this cousin of mine, even though she's 15 years older than me. And she would visit me often. She's known about Baba pretty much the whole time that my mom was married to my dad. And she would visit me, and only in the last few years, she started to ask me questions and say, oh, you know, my friend who lives in England, she became a Baba lover, and then she wanted to watch a Baba movie. Or she asked me so many questions that I decided to put a video in for her to answer a lot of her questions. And last year at Thanksgiving, this is Kamal I'm talking about, Dinku.
Yeah.
Last Thanksgiving, she was visiting me, and there's the picture of Baba where Baba's got his finger to, looking over to the side. And she had said in her previous trip how much she loved that picture. And after she left Thanksgiving, she again talked about that picture a couple more times, and she went home, and I decided I was going to make a copy of it and just send it to her. And right as I had done that, I sent in the prints to be made. I get a text from her saying, do you think you could take a picture of the picture and just send it to me? And I told her, well, here's what happened. I already have. And then she started to tell me that she had this experience of asking Baba for help. She was just feeling anxious about something. She asked him for help, and she said, the next thing I knew, I woke up in the morning. She goes, my eyes closed and I was in deep sleep. And she kept telling me after she went home how much peace she was feeling. And she, without reading any Baba literature, without knowing anything, is doing this incredible thing where Baba says, make me your constant companion. That's exactly what she's done without even knowing that that was something he said. She talks to him, she tells him funny stories, she just tries to make him laugh all day long. And if she's listening to music, she says, do you like music? You might like this band. And it was Guns N' Roses. But it's pretty remarkable. And I mean, I was very touched and moved to hear this. And now I'm positively jealous of her relationship with Baba. Anyway,
Beautiful.
so that's the story.
Yeah.
I met your brother as well when your mom passed, and I went across to pay my respects to her.
Oh, I was there.
You were?
Yeah.
Well, Meruk
somewhere,
introduced me to your brother.
So I
guess so.
Missed you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. In fact, it was your mom who loaned me the book on who loaned me the Discourses book. And one day, as I was reading it, I just felt I don't know. I just started feeling dizzy, and it was sort of like an out-of-body experience. It was a bit scary, and I had to shut the book and just lie down for a while. And then I got scared. I didn't pick it up again, and I just gave it back to Franny. Later on, I picked up the book again.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, any other thing, or shall we? Anything else come up? Jay, anything with you? Anything come up?
Nothing except I got my tooth pulled the other day. So I got some aching pain going on.
You got your girls. I can hear the kids back there.
Yeah, They should be winding down, but they're still pretty hyper.
Daddy.
Hey, here's a quick.
Dad!
Mhm.
Hey there.
Can I take one of
Beautiful.
I'll mute myself.
Dad? Dad?
Lovely.
Adorable.
Well, anyway, I guess maybe call it a night. It's about almost 12 here.
Yes.
You guys got it easy out there. I mean, 9 o'clock. Jaysima, where do you live in New Jersey?
Connecticut.
No. Where?
Connecticut.
Oh, that's right, Connecticut. Yeah, that's where Hugh Flick lives.
Yeah.
He was a dean at Yale.
Yeah.
Well,
And whatever happened to
Namita-
Prakash?
What's that?
Whatever happened to Prakash? I just
Yeah.
remembered.
Prakash is in India, so he's right now
Ah.
in India. I think he's going to stay for some time in India. So
And he got in a serious automobile accident, so
Oh no.
it kind of
no.
shook the family up. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
well,
got his son wedding in sometime on December 18. So he's in Hyderabad. And
Yeah.
Shailaja is going to join him on 24th November.
Uh-huh.
so
And,
you saying Prakash got in an accident?
Yeah, all of them.
he's now
He's okay.
okay now.
Yeah.
He's okay. And now he's right now in Hyderabad
Oh man,
in
wow.
India. And Shailaja is going to join him on 24th November.
Yeah.
Then wedding is sometime in December
Hey,
18th or 30th.
let's wave to this little boy here. Yeah. Look at that face. There's
Really.
well, I guess hey, so great to see all of you. Dinku, you're back from vacation. Great, wonderful to see you and Mara, and Ganesh,
Yeah.
Namita, and Jandone. I thought of you, Jandone, in the lagoon cabin last night. She was in her pajamas, so she's probably asleep. Tom, great to see you always. Mayor Prasad.
yes, please. Yes.
You guys.
Thank you,
Good night.
Jeff.
Yes, Jeff,
Thank
you should
you.
think of us.
Thank you.
Lagoon cabin.
Jai
Jeff.
Thank you.
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jeff,
Jai Baba.
Jeff, I've sent you some collection from the messages from Lord Mayor, which compiled by Prakash brother, Panidhiram.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
around about 1,000 pages. It's around about 1,000 pages.
Oh, 1,000. Wow.
Wow.
With all collection, right from alphabetically, A to Z.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Maybe useful for you. In
'Cause
fact,
we-
I sent one mail to Ganesh and Maher Prasad too.
Yeah. We use it for for New Year's. So you get your Baba quote for New Year's.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you
thank
should read quotes for us. Jeff, you should do that for us over here.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. The Circle of Friends. We're gonna work it out where I guess I don't know exactly how, but you send in your email address and you'll get a Baba quote for the New Year's.
Yeah.
We will have that. Yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
see you.
You